considering with Kiki missing the last month of last year, how I don't know if relief is the right word, but to have him back out there yesterday with a kind of a short-term absence with concussion.
Yeah, he's still in the protocol, so he's just working through it, and we'll see where he's at.
Now that you've had another day, I asked this yesterday, but just the dynamic with Aaron going in from Zoom, practicing with Jordan, just what's it been like so far for you, and how difficult has it been?
It's been going great. The communication's been there. He's been in every meeting. He's been engaged. So it's just he's not with his guys out on the field. That's the dynamic that you never know. But we're very fortunate to have a guy that has got a ton of reps under his belt, has played a lot of ball. So we're pretty confident that, provided he checks out well, that he can go out there and play at a high level.
What have you seen defensively from them? If you look at their yards, they've given up a lot. If you look at the points, they have not.
Yeah, they're very stingy in situational ball. They're very good on third down, and they're very good in the red zone. So those are two areas of emphasis, like they always are. But these guys they're a really good tackling team. So you might get a completion or you might get a run going, but on that second level and third level, these guys tackle as well as anybody.
You said you're confident, or provided he checks out well, Aaron. When do you know? Is it not till Saturday?
Pretty much.
Does that make things easier or harder to not? It's totally outside your control.
Yeah.
With injuries, you have an idea.
Sure. No, yeah, it definitely adds a element of just unknown there, right? But Jordan's preparing like he's the starter, and we'll get them both ready to play.
One of the things I think it says in that protocol is that you may have to activate him even if you don't know what his status is. Will you know by 3 o'clock whether he's good to go? Do you feel like you'll know by 3 o'clock?
I sure as heck hope so, Tom. Yeah, we better know one way or the other.
I want to ask you, because I'm sure you're not going to say if he's going to play, but do you know what you're going to do with Bakhtiari as far as the starting five goes? Do you have that figured out?
Well, the one thing that we got to get through the week of practice, and you got to string back-to-back days. You got to get into football shape, get multiple reps, try to simulate a drive as best you can, and just see how he responds. And then when he's ready to go, then he'll be in the lineup.
So I guess the follow-up to that is with Elgton, obviously he's greatly impacted. How do you get him the looks that he needs, because he could be playing two wildly different spots?
All these are challenges that we have to think about and work through each and every week, and especially when you have a guy that if you're not quite sure if he's going to play or not. That is one of the challenges that you just have to take on and roll with each and every week.
I know you guys had a good idea that Elgton would be able to handle left tackle going in, but having half a season now of seeing that, how do you do? When you look at how he would stack up across the rest of the league, is he a bona fide left tackle, upper tier type guy, or what kind of guy is he?
Yeah, I think he's upper tier no matter what position he plays. He's just one of those guys that, can play all 5 spots. So he is a rare talent, and I love his mentality, his demeanor, obviously the way he approaches the game. He's a great professional, and he's going to continue to get better and better and better, and that's what's so exciting about him.
What do you think of the way Chris Barnes has handled things? He was your primary play caller last year. He started this year. You bring in jail when the snaps get cut. That didn't work out. All of a sudden, Barnes is back and he plays the way he did the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think that's always a tough period of time for any player. You start to feel comfortable, and then you got a new guy coming in, like a guy like Dre, who obviously is playing at a very high level, and he's talking to the defense, and but I think KB has done an outstanding job just trying to focus on the things that are within his own control, just how he prepares each and every week, the energy and effort that he brings to our defense. And, I thought last week was his best performance, just the physicality, just owning his role, owning his job. But he's a great kid that brings just a level of consistency to our defense.
Now, with that, you being able to run both him and Campbell together, what have you thought of how they've kind of, formed, a kind of pairing? And also, what does that do for the nickel when you're able to stay with more two inside backer stuff, as opposed to asking like a safety to come down in the box?
Yeah, I just think, again, the more those guys play together, I think the more comfortable they are with one another, just the communication. I mean, shoot, there were times in the game last week where on that big hit on the goal line, where Dre was supposed to be the quarter flat player or whatever, and the way they communicated and they switched responsibilities like that, and it shows that they're growing together. But as far as each game plan is different in terms of whether you want to bring in a DB to play the inside backer position. A lot of it could be matchup predicated, but I do think that I don't know if this is the right term, but the box feels a little heavier when you have a bigger body in there. Maybe a little bit more stout and tougher to run against, but certainly situationally, there's going to be times when you're going to want dime in the game.
Now, was yesterday Jair's first day back in the building, and what's kind of the plan for him moving forward?
No, he's been around quite a bit, and the plan is just to try to continue to strengthen and allow his shoulder to heal, and we'll see where he's at. And it's going good, but there's still a long way out.
Matt, is there a feeling with your medical staff that Zadarius could come back now that you've had a look at him and he's working out in front of you guys? Do you think there's a chance he can come back this year?
I think there's always a chance, but again, it's a process, and you got to let that just kind of play itself out, and we'll see where we're at here in a few weeks.
Going back to the Elgton, guys in this league that can play left tackle usually like to play left tackle, and he's shown that. Is that at all a tricky situation for him to move back inside? You have to have a conversation with them at all about that?
Yeah. You always want to communicate with those guys and kind of let them know what's going on, and that is always a delicate situation. But he is such a team first kind of guy, and you can't have enough of those players on your team.
I'm not asking specifically about Odell here, but when there are roster moves, just of course it's about. I guess I'm just wondering, do you get involved in those things, like whether it's to A, gauge their interest, B, recruiting, just to see where anything along in that spectrum?
I think every situation is a little bit different, but certainly, Goody does a great job of informing me and allowing me to be part of the discussion in terms of what way we want to go.